The Grand Assembly Hall of Tarsus Prime glittered beneath a ceiling of crystalline arches. Hundreds of species, scaled, feathered, chitinous, and flesh, sat in tiered galleries that circled the floor like an amphitheater. Voices murmured in dozens of tongues, a constant hum of politics and tension. At the center, under the blazing lights, stood Captain Jonathan Hale, Earth's chosen representative to the Galactic Concord. A simple human among titans. He wasn't tall by alien standards, nor particularly imposing. His plain dark uniform bore only the emblem of Earth's fledgling coalition. And yet every eye tracked him. Humanity was still new to the galactic stage, only 50 years past first contact. They had no empire, no fleets to rival their neighbors. What they did have, though, was stubbornness, and a man like Hale, who never backed down from speaking truth to power. He had come to argue for Earth's seat on the High Council, a privilege usually granted only to ancient starfaring civilizations. The Concord laughed at the idea of humans having a voice equal to theirs. But Hale had been carving respect, one argument at a time. The session had dragged on for hours. Hale had stood firm against the Zerati delegates, matched the cold logic of the Veil, even endured the mocking laughter of the reptilian Draxan warlords. But nothing prepared him for what came next. From the far side of the chamber, Queen Serenya of the Lythari rose. Tall and graceful, her sapphire skin glimmered under the hall's light. Her long silver hair fell like liquid metal over ceremonial armor that seemed more like jewelry than protection. The Lythari were warriors, poets, and strategists all in one, their empire stretching across 50 star systems. Serenya had always spoken with measured disdain toward humans, curious creatures, reckless, too fragile for real power. Yet she had worked with Hale before, on border disputes and trade mediations. Though she rarely admitted it, she respected him. Now, as she stepped forward, the entire hall fell silent. Honored Assembly. Serenya's voice rang like music over the speakers. For years we have debated humanity's place among us. Many of you scoff. Many of you doubt. And yet, I tell you this. She turned suddenly toward Hale, her golden eyes locking with his. I wish you were my husband, human. The hall erupted. Gasps, hisses, and mechanical clicks of outrage filled the chamber. Delegates shouted over one another. Some laughed. Others growled in disbelief. Even Hale froze, stunned, his composure slipping for the first time in years. Serenya, unshaken, raised her hand. The hall quieted, but whispers still rippled through the air like fire. I speak not of romance, she continued, her voice steady. I speak of loyalty, of strength, of the rare courage to speak truth when surrounded by power. In my culture, to call one husband is to honor him as a shield, as a partner in destiny. Humanity seeks a voice among us. I tell you, they already have one. They have Captain Hale. All eyes turned to him. 1,000 emotions surged in that moment. Confusion, pride, disbelief, fear. He had faced many trials, but never this. He cleared his throat. Well, that's going to be hard to explain back home. The hall exploded in laughter, half in mockery, half in admiration. But the game had changed. Middle. The aftermath of Serenya's declaration was chaos. News streams across the galaxy replayed her words endlessly. I wish you were my husband, human. Within hours, every corner of the Concord was buzzing. Some mocked it as theater. Others called it strategy. But some whispered that perhaps the Empress of the Lythari saw something no one else did. For Jonathan Hale, it was more than embarrassment. It was political fallout. The human delegation scrambled to control the narrative. Some on Earth praised him for winning alien hearts, while others feared humanity would be seen as opportunists, manipulating royal affections for power. Privately, he met with Serenya in her quarters aboard the Lythari flagship. "You blindsided me," Hale said bluntly. Her lips curved in a faint smile. "You handled it well. You turned a council hearing into a scandal."
"No.
"I turned it into a revelation." She stepped closer, her golden eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. "They would never grant you respect through logic alone. But now they see through my eyes. My words elevated you beyond a delegate. You are now a symbol." He crossed his arms. "You called me your husband. In my culture, that word carries weight.
Partnership.
Loyalty. It is not a declaration of romance, though your kind always insists on interpreting it so. And if the galaxy believes otherwise, then let them. Fear and admiration are siblings. Both move hearts more than apathy ever could." Hale shook his head. She was cunning, brilliant, and infuriating. Yet he couldn't deny her gambit worked. Already, lesser delegations approached him differently, offering alliances where before there had been disdain. But her declaration had also made enemies. The Draxan warlords accused humanity of seducing the Lythari to gain favor. The Zerati syndicate muttered about destabilization, and whispers circulated of assassination plots against Hale. Tension peaked when the Dominion of Kale, a rival to the Lythari, called an emergency session to demand Hale's expulsion from the Concord. The assembly hall was more crowded than ever. Hale stood once again at the center, Serenya at his side, as Kale's delegates thundered accusations. "Humans are parasites," one shouted. "They ride upon the coattails of greater species. Look how their captain basks in the false affection of a queen." Hale wanted to lash out, but Serenya squeezed his arm lightly, a silent reminder to stay steady. He waited for the chamber to quiet, then spoke. "You call us parasites. Fragile. Insignificant. And maybe we are, compared to you. But parasites don't build colonies on barren rocks. They don't carve lives out of void and flame. Humanity didn't come to the stars because it was easy. We came because it was impossible. And we survived." He turned, locking eyes with Serenya for a heartbeat before facing the chamber. Queen Serenya's words weren't romance. They were recognition. She wished me her husband because she saw what humanity brings: loyalty, courage, and the refusal to yield when the galaxy tells us we should. If that frightens you, perhaps you're not as strong as you believe. The hall fell into silence. And then, slowly, delegates began to applaud, different gestures for different species, but unmistakable in meaning. Even those who hated him could not deny the conviction in his words. Serenya's gaze lingered on him, softer now, her usual mask of steel cracked just enough to show the faintest glimmer of something more. Ending. Months passed. The controversy refused to fade, but neither did humanity's growing influence. Against all odds, Earth was granted a provisional seat on the High Council, the youngest species ever to achieve it. Hale was appointed as Earth's first permanent representative. But not all were pleased. Assassination attempts dogged him. Twice, he narrowly survived, once when his shuttle malfunctioned mysteriously, another when a cloaked sniper fired during a council recess. Both times, it was Serenya's guards who intervened. Both times, she stood closer than protocol demanded, her presence a silent vow of protection. The whispers grew louder. Perhaps her words had not been only political after all.